Welcome, everyone. Today we are tackling one of the most powerful, yet underutilized skills in AI engineering, metaprompting. We will learn how to stop guessing what Claude wants and instead force Claude to write the perfect prompt for you based on your vague goals. Let's get started. Let's start with a foundational truth. Writing a perfect, highly structured prompt from a blank page is incredibly difficult. This is where metaprompting comes in. Metaprompting is simply the technique of using an AI to write, refine, or optimize prompts for itself. Why is this so crucial? Because users constantly fall into the mind reader fallacy, assuming the AI knows exactly what they want from a vague, two-sentence request. Instead of struggling to find the right words, you shift your approach. You give Claude your vague goal and ask it to construct the optimal instructions. You transition your role from being a prompt writer to being a creative director. You are leveraging Claude's vast internal knowledge of its own optimal pattern recognition to build a framework that guarantees precision. Take a look at this flowchart. On the far left, we start with your vague goal. If you feed that directly to Claude, you get a generic output. Instead, we route it through a metaprompt request. Claude then analyzes your underlying intent and does the heavy lifting, outputting an optimized master prompt highlighted here in green. When you feed that optimized prompt back into the system, it reliably produces the high-quality output you actually wanted. The most effective way to start metaprompting is by reversing the interview. The biggest mistake beginners make is the information dump, pasting 10 pages of irrelevant data and hoping the AI figures it out. Instead, we flip the dynamic. You tell Claude your high-level goal and then explicitly ask, what information would you need for me to provide the best possible assistance? What details should I include in my prompt? Claude will respond with a tailored list of questions. Once you answer them, Claude possesses exactly the semantic context it requires, no more, no less. By letting the AI guide the data gathering phase, you completely eliminate token waste and ensure the final prompt is hyper-focused on your actual objective. This sequence diagram illustrates the reverse interview. The user initiates by stating their goal and asking what questions Claude needs answered. Claude replies with a highly targeted list of missing variables like audience, tone, or format. The user provides these specific answers. Finally, Claude takes those answers and synthesizes them into the perfect, context-rich prompt. It is a collaborative, guided data gathering process. To get truly advanced results, you must structure your metaprompt using the persona pattern. If you just ask Claude to make this better, it might just answer your vague question directly. Instead, you must command it, act as an expert prompt engineer. Your task is to rewrite my vague goal into a highly optimized prompt. Role-playing isn't just a trick, it fundamentally shifts the model's processing context. We also provide strict structural constraints. As you see in the sample code, we instruct our prompt engineer to format its output using specific XML tags like context and instructions. Combining the expert persona with strict XML structural requirements forces the model out of a conversational mindset and into a highly analytical, architectural mindset. Here we visualize the payload of a professional metaprompt. From the center, we branch into 3 mandatory pillars. First, the persona, assigning the expert prompt engineer role. Second, the goal, deconstructing the vague request and optimizing it. Third, the constraints, forcing the use of XML tags, demanding few-shot examples, and defining the system role. When you combine these 3 branches, you produce a payload that guarantees an expertly crafted output. A perfect prompt is rarely created on the first try. To achieve mastery, we use metaprompting loops for systematic process improvement. You must treat the first prompt Claude generates as a baseline draft. You test it, evaluate the output, and feed the results back into Claude. This is known as the prompt evolution engine. You explicitly instruct Claude, after each draft, tell me what made it effective, what one change would most improve it, and let us do 3 rounds of iteration. You are actively asking Claude to critique its own work based on objective criteria like clarity or completeness on a 1 to 10 scale. This systematic improvement loop ensures that your prompt evolves from a decent guess into a highly calibrated, precision instrument. This state diagram maps out the prompt evolution engine. We start with the draft prompt and immediately move to test execution. We take those results and move to Claude evaluation, where we feed the output back to the AI. Claude identifies weaknesses, which leads to a refined prompt. We then loop back to test execution. We stay in this cycle until the goal is fully met and human validated, at which point we exit the loop. For developers and power users, Anthropic has actually built metaprompting directly into their platform. If you log into the Claude console, you will find a built-in Generate Prompt tool powered by Claude Opus. You simply describe your task, for example, triage inbound customer support requests, and the tool automatically metaprompts behind the scenes. Why is this so valuable? Because it automatically applies enterprise best practices. It wraps instructions in XML tags and injects double brace, variable syntax for your dynamic inputs. This perfectly formats the prompt so you can immediately plug it into the console's evaluation tool. It takes the manual labor out of metaprompting, providing you with a production-ready template in seconds. Here we see the workflow of the console prompt generator. You input your basic task description. The generator takes over, automatically splitting the work. It applies XML tag structuring for clarity, and it injects variable brackets for your dynamic data. These combine into a production-ready prompt, which seamlessly flows right into the console's evaluation tool so you can start testing immediately. As powerful as metaprompting is, we must discuss its limitations. AI cannot truly optimize a business process on its own. It merely responds to prompts about improvement. Claude evaluates its own prompts based strictly on the criteria you provide. It lacks real-world grounding and business intuition. Therefore, you must always maintain a human-in-the-loop reality. You must define objective quality criteria before you start the loop. Beware of the trust then verify gap. A prompt generated by an AI might look incredibly sophisticated, heavily structured with XML and variables, yet completely fail to handle edge cases specific to your industry. Metaprompting helps you structure your thoughts and explore pattern recognition, but your human domain expertise is absolutely required to validate the final architecture. This decision tree represents our safety net, the human evaluation gate, highlighted in yellow. When the AI outputs a master prompt, it does not go straight to production. It must hit the human gate. If it fails real-world criteria or misses edge cases, you provide corrective context and loop it back. Only when it passes human validation does it proceed safely to production deployment. Let's look at a real-time, practical use case. Imagine a marketing manager who needs a campaign strategy, but their only idea is sell more software to dentists. If they type that directly into Claude, they will get generic, useless fluff. Instead, they use metaprompting. Step 1. The reverse interview. They prompt, I want to sell software to dentists. What 5 questions do you need answered to write a master prompt for this campaign? Step 2. Claude asks specific questions about budget, timeline, dentist pain points, and preferred platforms. The manager answers them briefly. The outcome, Claude synthesizes those answers and generates a 500-word master prompt. This new prompt automatically includes an expert persona, precise format constraints, and few-shot examples. When executed, it produces a highly targeted, professional marketing campaign that saves days of work. Here is the user journey for our marketing manager. In the Spark section, the user starts with a vague idea and immediately asks Claude for help gathering inputs. In the interview section, Claude takes the lead, asking 5 targeted questions which the user answers. Finally, in the results section, Claude handles the complex synthesis, generating the master prompt, which empowers the user to execute a flawless campaign. To wrap up, metaprompting is your key to transforming from a struggling prompt writer into a strategic architect. You are no longer guessing, you are leveraging Claude's pattern recognition to build the perfect instructions. Remember our core best practices. Always ask Claude what information it needs before you start dumping data. Use the expert prompt engineer persona and force Claude to use XML structuring. And critically, utilize metaprompting loops to systematically evolve your drafts into masterpieces. Mastering these techniques turns AI from a simple tool into an intelligent collaborator. Thank you so much for joining this training session. I invite learners to like, subscribe, and visit quicktechie.com for premium certification prep, including Q&A banks, full ebooks, audiobooks, full-length training, and interview guides. See you next time. Our final diagram charts your path to professional mastery. You start on the left with a vague idea. You immediately ask what Claude needs, answer those specific questions, and let the AI generate the master prompt. You iterate and refine through loops, and ultimately arrive at the green node, professional mastery. Your days of staring at a blank prompt box are over.